I am a filmmaker, beekeeper, and activist, climate activist. I'm here at COP21 because I am finishing my documentary that I've been making for the past 7 years about the global youth climate movement. I started in Copenhagen for COP15, which was such a moment of hope and inspiration and of people coming together, and it ended up being such a despair-filled moment and full of such disappointment. After the failure of Copenhagen, though, what was really interesting that happened is that there was a new conversation with young people. There was a new conversation in the environmental movement, recognizing that we need to embrace our shared humanity and embrace our interconnectedness. And if we're able to do that, if we're able to bring that humanity back into the conference space, we'll be reminded of what it is that we actually are fighting for.
So this is what we missed. Is there a lack of humanity in this negotiation here between government from all over the world?
Well, look around. We're essentially in an airport hangar. The conference space is in an airport. Compared to previous COPs, there are brighter colors and the lights aren't as terrible and there's good food, of course, being in Paris. But they are essentially dead spaces. They are very dehumanizing. It is so overwhelming, and it is so well, what am I even doing here? What can I, as one person, do in this conference space? You're swallowed whole. You're swallowed alive, and I think it's very easy to get caught up in. From an observing point, it seems that negotiators can get caught up in it's every year. I attend these conferences and it's 2 weeks of the year, and it becomes this pattern, and there's a sense of complacency. Look around, there's no green space, there's no real life or vitality or energy of this planet that we're fighting for, of people's lives that we're fighting for. So
are you expecting anything from them, from the negotiation team? Do you believe in the process of COP21?
I have conflicted feelings. On the one hand, I do believe in it. It's the only space, it's the only official space that we have on such a global level where leaders and presidents and prime ministers and ministers can come together and talk about climate change and talk about the future and the environment. It's the only space we have. But at the same time, I'm 23 years old, and they've been negotiating all of my life. It's not acceptable that, we potentially will have to wait for a COP30 or a COP40 or a COP50 in order to solve climate change. The number that everyone keeps talking about is, the year 2050 or, maybe a 2-degree temperature rise. But if we allow that to happen, if we, wait until decades in the future, we're going to be the generation that is defined by having let coastal cities be destroyed, by letting minorities and by letting, indigenous peoples lose their culture, letting island nations disappear. Is that who we want to be? Do we want to be the people who let them down, who sacrifice them for our own sense of a convenient lifestyle?
So this is what the youth can make that the government cannot make, to bring more humanity and to create a movement, to I don't know how to explain it, to create a movement, a different movement, and to get out of the COP process for something else?
Most definitely. For young people, this isn't just a negotiating issue. This isn't just a piece of text or policy or something that may or may not get you reelected next year. This is the future of our life. This is our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives. We will be the ones inheriting this planet and the problems of the previous generation. In 2050, we'll be the leaders and we'll be the ones who are still alive. They won't be around. And so we need to be here because we recognize the sense of urgency that climate change is not happening in 50 years, in 100 years. It's happening now, and people are suffering now. So we need to be here because we bring that energy and that creativity and that desire and inspiration to change, to look at climate change as not just this overwhelming, abstract, depressing issue, but hey, what if this is the moment when we change everything? What if this is the moment when we truly connect to each other and redefine our relationships to each other and the planet? So it's great that we're here. We need to remind people of that, but if nothing comes out of COP21, we're going to have to find something else to work, because we've run out of time. We're running out of time. And, you know, even if we do get a climate deal that is fair, ambitious, and binding, it's not legally binding. There's no climate police. So we're going to have to be the ones who hold our leaders and governments accountable.
Thank you very much for your time and for your answers.
Thank you.